When was the last time you actually felt rested? Not, I'll catch up next week rested, properly rested. Because if you're leading in hospitality right now, you're probably functioning just fine. You'll be delivering, you'll be showing up, and you've probably told yourself a million times that it'll calm down soon. But underneath all that, there's this weight that just never really goes away. There's always the bookings, the bills, the staffing issues, the standards. And even when you're off, your head's still in work. You're not incapable and you're definitely not failing. You're running on empty and nobody ever showed you how to change that. This isn't a motivation problem, it's a regulation problem. And today I'm going to show you how to go from constant overwhelm and background anxiety to becoming a regulated leader, feeling steady, grounded, and clear, without leaving the industry or pretending that the pressure doesn't exist. I will show you how to lead in hospitality without burning yourself out, using the possibilities and 4R journey framework, and without stepping away, lowering your standards or adding more pressure on yourself, because that's the last thing you need. This isn't about escaping stress. It's about building the capacity to handle it. Most leaders try to solve this externally by using better systems or better structure, more discipline. But the problem isn't external. It's how you're carrying it on the inside. And once you understand that, the solutions become much clearer. The possibilities and 4R journey framework is 4 stages in this exact order. It starts with recognition, then regulation, then reframe, and reconnection. The order matters. Skip it and it just won't stick. But when applied properly, this changes how you experience the role from the inside out. This is for people, hospitality business owners, general managers, senior leaders, duty managers, head chefs, people who feel the weight of the responsibility and know they can't keep running on adrenaline forever. But this is not going to be for people who are looking for a quick motivational hit, people who wear burnout as a badge of honour, people unwilling to look honestly at their own patterns. If you want surface level tips, this isn't for you. If you want internal change that actually lasts, then I reckon you keep watching. You've probably tried things before, like more time off and better rotas. You've listened to the podcast and read the leadership books. You've maybe even been to therapy. And some of it's helped temporarily, but the underlying feeling always comes back. That low level tension, that background hum, that sense of always being slightly on alert. Here's why. You've been trying to fix the outside when the real problem is on the inside. When things kick off at work, your body reacts before your mind even has a chance to catch up. You go into overdrive, you probably push harder, you carry more, and your body never really comes down from it. And over time, that constant state of pressure, it becomes your normal. So even when things are fine, you're going to still feel wired. And that's not weakness. That's what happens when you've never been shown how to press reset. It's not your fault. Hospitality trains you to push through. Nobody teaches you how to come down. Things that people ask and say to me regularly are things like, isn't this just stress management? My answer to that is no. Stress management helps you cope. This changes your default. Will it work in this industry? My answer to that, it was built at this level of pressure in this industry. I don't have time. If you're exhausted now, you won't have time later. I need to tell you something personal because I can't ask you to come on this journey unless you know where I've been. I did 24 years in hospitality, 16 of those owning multiple businesses. I had pubs I'd run for over a decade, an award-winning fine dining restaurant, and a catering and an events company. On paper, it looked brilliant. Awards, full bookings, a reputation we worked years to build. Inside, me, well, I was 38. I was married with a 6-month-old baby at home. I was responsible for 30, 40 people. I was carrying the pressure, Sometimes the guilt and shame of never feeling like I was doing enough. And I had no idea or understanding of what all that was doing to me. I wasn't present at home. I hadn't bonded properly with my child yet. And there was always this voice, quiet but persistent, in my head saying, this just can't continue, Tom. But the noise around me, it was too loud for me to stop. But then one morning, after a 5-day catering event, which was long days and late nights, I woke up that morning and I broke down in the shower. My partner and my child had gone out and I just had to stop. I was numb and I felt empty. I didn't know what it was then, except I knew something had ended. Well, this was my burnout. In the weeks that followed, I walked away from my marriage, my restaurant, and I eventually sold my pub. I moved back in with my parents and I went to therapy. 10 to 12 months of understanding why I was the way I was, forgiving myself, and also learning how my mind and body actually work. And then I kept going. I qualified as a trauma coach, a life coach, and a meditation teacher. Look, I'm living proof that when you understand what's happening inside you, everything changes. I didn't read about this pressure. I lived it at the top level in this industry. And now I help other leaders do what I couldn't back then. And that's get ahead of it, get in front of it. The possibilities and 4R journey framework is 4 stages, and it's in this order for a reason. Each one builds on the last. The first stage is recognition. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to understand it. Most leaders think they're tired because of the workload. And yeah, the workload is real, but the reason it's consuming you isn't just the hours. It's that you've been absorbing pressure for so long without knowing how to release it. That it's become your default state. In this stage, you start to understand how that happened, where your patterns came from, why switching off feels absolutely impossible, and why the harder you push, the more stuck you feel. You are not broken. The pressure around you has been shaping how you think and feel, and no one ever showed you what to do about it. One senior leader I worked with told me that for the first time in years, he felt back in the driving seat of his own life, more honest with himself, more connected to his work, and no longer ruled by his own thoughts. That recognition alone, he said, changed everything. The next stage is regulation. Learning how to come down from the pressure and stay down. This is where real change begins. It's not about breathing exercises in a spa. It's about learning how to bring yourself back mid-shift, mid-conflict, mid-crisis, whatever it is, but without suppressing what you actually feel. You build the ability to handle intensity without being swallowed up by it. You stop running purely on adrenaline. You start leading from a steadier, calmer place. This is where you become what I call a steady leader, and over time, a regulated leader. Calm doesn't mean you care less. It means you're stronger without burning out to prove it. Another client of mine came to me completely overwhelmed and burnt out, stuck in survival mode, making decisions from a place of panic rather than clarity. They told me that the tools we worked on helped them move from constant reaction to genuine calm. They started leading differently, thinking more clearly, and said it changed not just how they worked, but how they felt about themselves. The third stage is reframe. We update the beliefs that are keeping you exhausted. Once you start to feel steadier, we look at what you believe. Things like, I have to carry everything. If I slow down, it all falls apart. Exhaustion means I'm committed. These beliefs were built for a reason. They kept you going. They made you resilient, but they're also costing you more than you realize, and they don't have to. Recognition is the last phase. This is where getting back to who you actually are. Burnt out doesn't just exhaust you, it disconnects you from your purpose, from your values and your strengths. The person who you were before the industry shaped you. In this stage, we reconnect you to who you actually are beyond the role, your real strengths, what genuinely matters to you, your life outside work. This is where leadership becomes sustainable, not because the job gets easier, because you stop letting it define you. Right now, there are two futures in front of you. Path A, you can just keep pushing. You can keep normalizing it. Keep telling yourself this is just the job, this is just the industry, while the pressure keeps costing you more than you're willing to admit. 5 years will pass. You will get more tired. You will have less patience, less joy, bigger responsibility. And it gets harder to remember why you even started this in the first place. Or does path B? You understand what's actually happening. You learn how to carry it differently. You become the leader who handles intensity without being consumed by it. Same industry, same pressure, but completely different internal experience. Hospitality is never going to slow down for you. So you must evolve faster than the stress does. Simple. This is not generic coaching. This is deep, personalized work built entirely around you and your environment and your needs. I work with leaders and business owners through one-to-one coaching. And there's two ways we can do this. There's an 8-week quick shift program. And this is for leaders who need to start shifting now. Full 4-hour journey, but just at a quicker pace, but with the same structure. Or there's a 12-week deep regulation program for those who are ready for a deeper, complete identity shift, more depth, more transformation, same structure. Both take you through recognition, regulation, reframe, and reconnection in a supported, structured environment built entirely around you. You'll get better decisions, better presence, better recovery between the pressure, and a version of you that leads from strength, not survival. Now, some more questions that I get asked when I talk about my work. Is this therapy? No. Therapy looks back at the past. This is forward focused about who you're becoming and how you lead from here. Will it work in hospitality? It was built inside this industry. I didn't read about this pressure. I lived it. What if I see no value? Well, if you engage fully and genuinely feel that you found no value, I will offer you a no value money back guarantee. I stand behind this work completely because I know what happens when it is applied properly. Is it expensive? Well, staying burnt out, disconnected, and running on empty will definitely cost you more in every way. The question isn't whether you can afford to do this, it's whether you can afford not to. You're not exhausted because you're incapable. You're exhausted because you've been carrying this without the tools to reset, and nobody ever showed you how. That is something we can change. Imagine finishing a week and actually feeling clear, not carrying the weight of it into the next one. Imagine walking into a big service, feeling calm, not braced for what's coming and what could happen. Imagine going home and actually being present. Would that change your experience of your own life? Through recognition, regulation, reframe, and reconnection, that's exactly what becomes possible for you. If you're serious about changing this, you need to click the link and apply to work with me. We'll get on a free call, look honestly at where you are now, and decide together if this is the right fit for you. But remember, there is path A. You can keep pushing. You can keep normalizing it. Keep telling yourself this is just the job. Or there is path B. Understand what's happening. Build your capacity. Lead without losing yourself inside the pressure, inside the industry. Hospitality doesn't have to break you to prove you're strong. If that lands, book the call. Let's build a version of you that can carry success without it costing you your peace.